Welcome to 17th lecture of second chapter of our comprehensive data science, machine learning and artificial intelligence course. So far we discussed about while loop. So this is one example which we had seen, a very simple example that we initialize one number to 1 say and we write while num less than 11 print hello world and then increment that number by 1. So 1 less than 11 hello world will be printed, then incremented 2 less than 11 hello world will be printed, and so on 3, 4, 5, 10 times hello world will be printed, and that we saw also. Now one problem with this while loop is that at the beginning of while loop only the condition is checked. So there is a chance that the control will not enter the while loop ever. What I am saying is, suppose we would start with this number 12. Okay, number is equal to 12. Now your number is already greater than 11. So this condition will not be satisfied in the beginning itself. So in that case, what will happen? Hello world, this whole body of the loop, that will never be executed. So nothing will happen with this type of case. You can see that loop, you never enter the loop. Only this variable num is assigned value 12. That's all. Okay. So can you make some loop which is having some such property that it is executed at least once? Okay, so yes, such loop exists in other programming language that is called do while loop, and languages like C, Java, JavaScript all have do while loop, but in Python there is no do while loop. But do while loop is sometimes required. For example, you want some process to be executed after taking some input from the user, and that control or that logic which takes the input from the user, that is also embedded within the loop. Now if you never enter the loop, then you will never be able to take the input from the user, and then in that case your loop will never be executed. You want to do something so that at least first time you enter the loop, take some input from the user, and based on that user, say he wants to continue or he does not want to continue, next iterations of the loop occur. So there is no do while construct in Python, but one can easily mimic it by using a Boolean flag. That means what one can do is, one can set while condition is equal to true, okay, and that one can set condition is equal to true, and then one can write while condition. So that means, okay, this way, and this body of the loop will be entered because you have set the flag condition equals to true, and while condition means while true. So then this will be printed at least once, and inside you provide some logic by which you can decide whether to continue the next iteration or not. For example, inside this is a statement which takes the input from the user. It asks the question, continue, give answer yes or no. So here user will take the input, and therefore this is called input, user's input. Then that input is stored in a variable named continue loop. So user may enter either yes or user may enter either no. However, there is some problem there. The user may enter a yes like this, or he may enter a yes like this. No also can be entered this way, or maybe mixed case also, maybe somewhat like this, and so on. So you want to take care of all these cases. So you can do one step here, that whatever is the user's answer, you take it as an input and you store that input in a variable named continue loop. But then when condition is checked, you don't compare that continue loop with yes, but you compare continue loop dot lower. So dot lower means if it is like this, then its lowercase version will also be same. If it is like this, then its lowercase version will be this. If it is like this, then its lowercase version will be no. Okay. And if it is like this, then also lowercase version will be yes. If it is this way, then lowercase version will be no. So here you are checking the condition, that if the lowercase version of this variable is equal to yes or not equal to yes. So you are comparing with not equal to yes. So if that means user has entered either no or no or any other word which is not at least yes. Okay. So then if that is the condition, then you provide a statement break, and in that case the loop will be broken. Okay. Let us see the execution of this. So first this is the output which will be printed, but let us see this execution. So this will be printed at least once. Let me move this output slightly down. Unnecessarily it is creating confusion. Only first this is there. Okay. So continue, user is asked that, and I am entering YES. Deliberately I am entering uppercase letter, and then I press enter. So the loop will continue because YES will be converted into small YES, this. But this condition says that if continue loop variable dot lower is not equal to yes, then break. But here my continue loop dot lower variable is equal to yes. So that means I will not break, I will continue. So again, same question is asked, continue or not. This time I suppose enter say YES. So still again the same problem. This will be in lower case converted into same YES, and when this condition is checked, it will evaluate to false. That continue loop dot lower. In my case, it is YES, but it is the condition says if it is not YES, then break. So obviously, I cannot break. My while loop will continue. But now I enter anything other than that. Say I enter no. So in that case, the loop is broken. Okay. So that is what is shown here in the output. There is, I think, no need to keep that output here. Okay, fine. So this is simulating a do while loop for taking user's input. Similar one example I have given, code is given here and output is given on the right side. So you will try this yourself, try typing the code, and at that time without looking up, try typing the code, add one cell. I am adding the cell also for you, so that okay, so in this cell you write code without looking up, so that you will see those small mistakes, that you will miss the colons, then you will miss the quotes and all those things. They should be detected. Those who are seasoned programmers, they can avoid if they feel that they already know. Now this is another switch case default statement. Okay, so if, else, elif, etc. That is one way of doing checking for multiple conditions, and based on which condition is satisfied, something must be done. Okay, but same thing can be done with switch case default statement. Here the switch word is not there, just match case that is there, and this was introduced only recently. As such, it is now not recent because now we are already in Python 3.13, but still it is relatively recent addition, and it is done this way. Say for example, this is a function which is written. The construct match and case is only this much. But let us say we have introduced that construct within the definition of a function. So handle command is my function, and it takes one argument command. Okay. Now instead of writing if command is equals start, then print starting the process. If elif command equals stop, print stopping the process. Elif command equals pause, print pausing the process. That will also work. But here we want to introduce this construct. So whatever value comes here, that will be matched. Match command with what? It will be matched one by one with different cases. This case, so whether command equals start, or whether command equals stop, or whether command equals pause, or whether command equals just an underscore. That means anything other than this, or this, then that will match here. So it will give unknown command. Okay. And let us first define the function. When you define the function, nothing happens. That we know we have to call the function. Now, if I call this function with start, then the start will be assigned to this parameter, that is command, and then that command will be matched with this. So this should be printed. Okay. Let me take these others to their respective cells so that one can clearly see. Okay, so we are calling our function here with start as a argument. So this part will match. So it should print starting the process, and it prints that. But we are fast. Now this time we are calling our function with stop as an argument. Stop is assigned with command. Command is that stop will be matched with different cases. So here the match will happen here. So this will be printed, and you can see that this is getting printed. Then this pause will be printed. So that pause is there. And if you write something which is neither start nor stop nor pause, then exit will be printed. Okay. So that is very simple. Now here I can give one extra thing, that define same function, that is the handle underscore command in bracket command colon function using if elif else construct. So this time don't use that switch construct, because the one problem with that switch construct is that you will find that is Python still legacy code. There is lot of legacy code. That means in Python 3.9 or Python 3.87 earlier versions. So if you suddenly introduce you are asked to modify some code base, and if you suddenly use this construct, then it may break something which was written in earlier versions of Python. So you have to, as much as possible, do the same thing using the standard if else, and it is very easy. So there is no need by me also to show you, because I know all of you are pretty brilliant people. Okay. Now here, earlier when even 3.10 was not there, and this construct was not introduced, still Python programmer found out a way of mimicking the switch case using dictionaries. This will work for all versions of Python higher than 3. Okay, so in fact, perhaps it will work even for Python 2. But here the construct is completely different. If I see this, here and there is only one function and inside there is a match and case construct. Well, here there are multiple functions actually. One function for start, one function for stop, one function for pause, and one function for default. The question is how to call all these functions. Should I write again 4 statements for calling 4 functions? Then no. For that you can use one such dictionary. In a dictionary we know that there is a key and there is a value. There is another key and another value, and another key and another value. Okay. So you can start with command equals start, and then switch dot get command and default. And if I try this, switch is what? Switch is my this dictionary. Okay. Dot get is what? Trying to get its various elements and assigning that to this command. Okay. And if nothing is matching out in the dictionary, then assign default. So if start matches, then assign start. If this matches, then assign this. But if nothing matches, then assign this. Let us see if this works in same manner or not. Yes, it is right printing, starting the process. Okay, but that is because here start is matching. I have written command is equal to start. Then I can write command is equal to stop. And next time if I pause, then stopping the process. Next time I can write command is equal to pause. Then in that case, pausing the process. And next time I can write command is equal to exit or anything else. Then unknown command will be printed. Fine, but that is a crude way of doing. Then of course you can do one more thing. You can put all this inside a list and say like this, for example, commands equals, in this list you put start, stop, then pause, then exit. So a comma separated list of all commands you are putting, and then close your list. Here also comma should be there. Okay. Then you iterate through your list. So for command in commands, we know that one can very easily iterate through. So for command in commands, automatically the indentation is added. Switch dot get commands. So automatically the function will be called one by one. First time this will be assigned, this time this will be assigned, and this time this will be assigned. And if, now if I write, then you can see that exactly that behavior, starting the process, stopping the process, pausing the process, that is mimicked. So it is possible to mimic switch case default statement with dictionary and separate functions for each options or each case. While here you are doing only one function, but various cases are included inside this match and case construct. Okay. So this is one simple another way of doing. So Python has this speciality that it allows you to do practically everything. For example, this is slightly advanced example. So those who are coming from programming background, they are knowing this, but others may not at present understand. But still, please hang on. For example, in other programming languages like Java, say if you define a class and then you define some attribute inside the class, then for getting that attribute, you have to define some methods within the class, and those methods become the only way by which you can access the attribute. But in Python, the classes are written in such a manner that there are ways, slightly indirect ways, some you can say some kind of hacks by which attributes within the class are accessible, even without using any methods which is defined in the class. So some people call it a security nightmare. Some people call it that it is good as long as the person, Python programmer, is knowing what he is doing. He should be allowed to do it. Okay. So Python is perfectly apt for that statement, that with great power comes great responsibility. It allows the programmer to do practically everything. Even when we saw one earlier example, that nested function example. Now in other programming languages, that nested function and accessing the variable which was defined within the nested function by calling the outer function, that is either not possible or tremendously difficult. With Python it is very easy to do that, but such freedom is also coming with a lot of responsibility. So you have to know exactly what you are doing, and you are not creating some security holes in your application. Okay. Now we will do this topic in next lecture, error handling in Python using try, except, and finally. This is also an important topic, and a professional program is never complete without error handling. So please pay attention in that lecture also. Okay. Thank you.